Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be sharing a real-side dream experience from my book, Chronicles of a Cosmic Space Case. The PDF link to this book and Book 3 of my real-side experiences are in the links below the description of this video, including a link to the website DwayneTheGreatWriter.net, where new books 1 to 9 can be purchased from lulu.com, and the Kindle editions from amazon.co.uk. Dream 40. Projecting into future worlds. This dream would follow on from the previous dreams I have had, where I was afforded objective views of potential virtual reality worlds brought forth by the activation of nanobots by the 5G. A robotization of the human race would be made an actuality through the agreement to this dastardly 5G technology, as the nanobots within every individual would be activated resultingly, and not only this, but it seems all those transformed would be subjected to another virtual reality stemming from the very biomechanical robot bodies that now were their physical vehicles. And so I would be given a glimpse of one of these potential virtual reality worlds, for it was my impression that there would be many variations, catered perhaps for each unique individual's created consciousness, categorizing everybody into the virtual worlds that would best appease their specific personal self-wants and desires. In essence, then, the unaware, who remain in cause and effect creation, are now not only projecting into future lifetimes based on their ideas, emotions, and personal self-desires, but projecting, in fact, into future virtual reality worlds. Normally, they would simply be forging a future spot somewhere in the creation matrix simulator. But now, with the inception of this black magic technological distortion, they will be twice removed from their awareness, and the is a simulation within a simulation. I would find myself viewing from the position of a creature in some vast labyrinth. Seems this place was filled with creatures of all kinds and descriptions, curious animal forms, and close approximations of creatures we know here on the earth, and some not so close that defy description. Seems that all these individuals just roamed around, doing very little, having no necessity to consume, and at first seemingly serving no purpose. And then other individuals entered this labyrinthian world, and they had a different function. They would rampage through this environment and seemingly grow in might and prestige by destroying the aimless inhabitants that dwelled here. The inhabitants were of various size and capability, and would switch into action as they were attacked, or might indeed attack one of these invading individuals on sight. From the perspective of the inhabitants, death here for them was very real at the hands of the invaders. Fear was prevalent. It was surely a very negative environment to be in. My view would switch, and I was now objectively regarding from the position of an invader, and from their viewpoints this was just a kind of amusement or game. They had nothing to concern themselves about. It seemed that should they meet an ill fate, they could reboot and try again, and they seemed oblivious that the individuals they killed were in morbid and abject terror as to their positions. For as the inhabitants were locked in this place, and could not move beyond its confines, the invaders could, and had a kind of world of existence beyond this labyrinth. Viewing from one of the invaders, I could see how they entered this arena, had their fun, then retreated by choice, or if dispatched, back to this world beyond. The majority of their time in this beyond world being spent training for the time they would spend in the labyrinth. My impression, and what I gleaned through my awareness, was this: all these individuals in this experience were those who had been subjected to the robotization, been inserted into a particular virtual world or virtual world circumstance in alignment with whatever they had focused on, projected into the ideas and emotions they had had, etc. The experience each were having was the effect of the cause set in motion by the agreement to whatever ideas they had embraced. In this case, individuals had found themselves in a kind of horror world where they were the victims of a constant attack, in a very limited world where they had little function or purpose, and locked into their personal selves only. They were subjected to the programs running that had them doing just this, assuming the roles of simply targets in a kind of computer game, with very little consideration other than the fear they had due to the endless attacks that was their reality. They were thinking very little, projecting very little, as I had a viewpoint as one and several of these creatures. It was a very restricted, programmed body vehicle that didn't allow much by way of free will activation in regards to thought and emotion. Those vehicles were present, yes, the 5 bodies, etc., but locked down in the programming that constricted these creational vehicles. The other individuals, through their choices and decisions, agreements, etc., had found themselves in a more liberating situation, but they were still locked in a similar programmed reality. All they seemed to do was exist in a place that was geared simply for the purpose of training for the attacks on the individuals within the labyrinth. This was the entirety of their lives, their singular purpose of existence. It seems that they had far greater lifespans. I had impressions of lengthy durations, perhaps indefinite